Okay. Okay. And also everybody, okay. I will not be on that much tomorrow, so yeah. Let's finish this up. And then that's the day he met Elena. This was the next year. This was like very close to the next year. We're very close to this day. Well, not to this day, but to this year. So he met Elena, and they got into shenanigans. And then he said, "Pen, come over here." And I said, "You're gonna do something weird," because I smelled it. Okay, I knew something was up with them. And then they grabbed me on the ground, and I'm like, "What do I do?" I didn't know what to do. I was panicking. And then I grabbed, and then Elena had scissors in her pocket, and it wasn't one of those animation stories. It wasn't one of those where she cuts the hand. No, it was way worse. She was straight up like, if you get out of here, I'm going to cut you. I still, and why did she say, and I said, "Okay, what can I get water like last time? Because I'm just a goat. And then here's what happened. I steal the scissors from my pocket, and I go run inside. I throw the scissors, so they had to block it. And then Jackson actually fell this time on concrete, and I was like, "Oh my god, thank God!" I was so scared for that second. I was like, "I'm dead. I'm so dead." I didn't know what to do, but I made it inside happily. I'm happy that I did not die that day. And here's the thing, it wasn't threatening. They weren't gonna actually gonna kill me. It was like, "Oh, then like we're gonna, yeah." Okay, well, can I just finish the job? Okay. Well, we have one more job to go. So this would be a short one. Yeah, that happened. And this is just like the start of the revolution right here. This is where it really happened. This is the good part. So one thing today, we were cleaning this car because we were allowed to have it. They said it's for free, and it had no motor, so it was really bad. So it had no battery, and then he started to be demanding. And then he says, "You should go." So he kicks us out of the house, kinda. And then he says, "I'll be right back." And he sounded like he was annoyed by us. And then he said, and I said, "Hey, Donovan, do you think of Jackson as annoying?" You know what he said? I said demanding, not annoying. And he said, "Yeah, wait, so you actually friends with him?" And he says, "No, I'm actually pretending." That's the car that I was talking about last year. Oh my god, it was the start of the revolution right now. All the good days. So, then that happened. I was so happy. And this was about 1 week ago. After that, so I got a new staff thing. It was like a PVC pipe, and I was looking for something to put in it, so it was sharp, so I could break stuff and do a lot of cool stuff. I can see how strong it is, so it could be like a weapon if somebody tries to hurt me and all that stuff. And then here's what happened. I go to Jackson's house, and this was not about Jackson. This was about a couple of other kids on the street. This was just almost thing that I got away from. It was surprising, okay? So here's what happened. They say he's not home, and I said, "I doubt that very much." And then he says, "Okay, he's not home." And I'm like, "What a surprise!" And then I walk, and I'm close to walking back in. I was gonna walk into my house, and then at the last second I changed my mind. So I'm across the street from my friend Donovan, and then Elena, Holly and Heidi, which you've seen in one of those videos, Heidi had blue hair, and Holly was like a sister one. She's the youngest sister in Jackson's video, and the thing was, I was talking, and then they started viking around me, and there was this tiny two toddlers that were like just saying, "I told you so," circling on me. So I had to book it to Donovan's house, and they would chase me down, and I didn't know what to do, so I asked I had to and I said, "Hey, is Donovan home?" No, he wasn't home. I was so screwed at that moment. I didn't know what to do. So they started to try to block the door. It didn't work so well. And a couple of days, and then after I'm thinking about it. So I go inside, and I have a walkie-talkie. I give it to my brother, and I say, "Come in." And then he didn't come in, and I was like, "Oh my God, my battery's so dead!" What a coincidence, if you know what I mean. And then they said, "Hanson, what do you mean?" So that happened, and then the most diabolical thing was, one time I was going to Jackson's house, and it wasn't that bad. Okay? And then he said, "I'm home." And then they were all ready to get there. They all ganged up on me. And then they say, "Block the door." And then you know, I'm just really that good. And then they all go around me, and you know what I say? I say, "Oh, hello, Jackson," behind them. So they all look away. You know, since I'm just that guy, they all look away, and I make a run for it. You don't believe how good I was. And they said, "How do you all look at that?" Because, you know, I'm built different. And then they all blocked the door. So, and then I just grabbed through them. And then I opened the door. Yeah. So that was kind of almost the end of the story. If you want to see more, like and subscribe. But I think I still want to do one more job. Actually, I think I might have one more. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, this was 1 year ago. So they all actually ganged up on me once. This was the craziest stuff. Donovan was here, Jackson was here, Elena was here, the Tiny Tods were here, Elena and Holly and Heidi were here. It was just like that type. And then the craziest thing happened. They were all like, we heard this, like we heard that you said this about it. And you know who said that I said about them? This about them? I'm looking at Jackson. And then I start to run away, and I was running like very fast, like as fast as I can go. And then the craziest thing happened. I stopped, so they all go in front of me, and they didn't see me somehow because they were all like looking somewhere else because they were looking where the other friends were because they were trying to catch up. And then here's what happened. The craziest thing happened. I stopped, I went back. They somehow didn't notice that, but they were at the end of the street, and they're like, "Wait, he can't go here." And then they noticed that I wasn't there. So I went home. That was like probably the end of the story. But this will be the last one today. So I'm gonna speed one this quick. It has been a great day on to just talk to everybody here. Everybody make sure to like and subscribe. Remember, get past Jackson. If you want to see me to go to VidCon, it probably is unlikely. Everybody tell me in the comments what I should name my chameleon. I think I know what I should name him. Best answer right now is either Spider or Lucha. Those are my favorites right now. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can't finish today, so